Hello everyone. So welcome to the channel of RD Automation Learning. So in this video, I'll be telling you about the silent layoffs. So nearly 20,000 employees have been silently laid off in the last 12 to 18 months. So there is a full report that has come up on the money control, and there is also an article that has been recently published in the Economic Times. So we would be deep diving about this particular thing. What are silent layoffs? When do these silent layoffs happen? How can you make sure that you are not becoming a part or you're not being silently laid off from the company? How can you overcome this kind of situation? But before that, I would like to tell you about one of my digital product, so which we have created looking into the perspective on the interview. So as you know, the job market has opened. The people who are having 3+ years of experience, they have started getting calls, and we have been uploading success stories. We have been uploading the interview questions and answers of the subscribers from the subscribers which they have been getting in all these companies. So such is one of the digital product that we have created. So let me just quickly share my screen. So this is the digital product which we have created. We have consolidated all the questions and answers from the subscribers who have recently got selected in one of the companies. So they got selected in various companies, and one such success story with Selenium with Python interview would be uploaded on the Tuesday itself, in which the subscriber has got selected in the Mindtree company. And this is for the people who are looking forward to make their career with Selenium with Python and having 3+ years of experience. Now, going back to the topic, what are these silent layoffs and what exactly happens? So if you will see from last 12 to 18 months, the big giants companies like Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, IBM, all these companies have announced job cuts. There has been a cost cutting going on, and still the projects are not coming up from the US or from the UK. The job market in the UK or in the Canada, that is day by day going pathetic. So there are not only these big giants, but there are also many startups that have been witnessing these kind of job cuts, that have been doing these kind of job cuts and all those kind of cost cutting. Now, what is happening is the new thing that has started in the IT industry is silent layoffs. So nearly 20,000 employees have been laid off from the different companies. What are these silent layoffs? So what is actually happening with the employees is they are being called into the cabins or with the HR managers, with the HR heads, and they are being asked to forcefully resign from the company. If they argue at that particular moment, then they are being told today is the last day for you in this particular company. Now, why do this kind of situation happens? Because the business in the companies is going down. They are not getting that much amount of profit margin which they are expecting from the business, and which is why what is happening is the employees who were been working there since long, they are being laid off, and this is called as silent layoffs. You're not They are not announcing this kind of things, because if they will announce, then the reputation of the company, the branding of the company, the image of the company in the market would go down. The stock prices of those particular companies would go down because they are going for layoffs. So what they are doing is they are calling their employees one by one, and they are asking them to put the resignation, and they are giving them some time like 1 month or maybe 2 months, and they will tell them, oh, that okay, now you have to get a new job in the new company. So there are two kinds of people. One kind of people are those who are accepting these kind of things, and they are searching for one more job. Then there are people who are getting into kind of an argument, who are getting into a kind of a negative discussions with these particular people, with their HR heads, and then they're asked to terminate, they're asked to resign today itself, and they're asked to submit their laptops and all those assets as soon as possible. So what I would suggest is, if you are getting into this kind of meetings, if you are getting into these kind of calls, then don't get into the argument mode, because in the new company, when you would be getting selected, you would be clearing the interviews, you would be getting selected, right? Then the new employer would be conducting a BGV, a background verification for you, and they will be connecting with your older employer that about your background verification, about your BGV. So it becomes very important that you don't have to argue with your employer. You don't have to raise your voice. I can understand this kind of situation is something that you should raise your voice, but at the end, your relieving letter, your experience letter would be given by the employer itself. So you have to deal with such kind of situation very, very cautiously, and you don't have to overreact. You don't have to get emotional during this particular things, because what they will do is they'll give you 1 or 2 months and you have to start searching for jobs. And in the new company as well, whenever you go, okay, now there are two kinds of things again here. Either first thing is you were working in that company since 3 years, since 2 years, since 4 years, it depends. Or you have recently joined that company and you are being asked to put down your papers, or you are being asked to resign from that particular company. So what would you do? If you are working since 3 or 4 years, then you will have those experience letters. And you can also tell the another employer that you are looking for a change because the business is going on down and you are looking forward to move on from that company, right? So see, understand these words. You have to speak up these words in your next interview. You have to tell you want to move on from that particular company. Why you want to move on? Because you want to ensure that the layoff is happening not because of your productivity issue. It is not happening because of your performance issue. It is happening because the business is getting impacted. Now, the second aspect is, if you are someone who has recently joined that company. So last week itself, I was having a conversation with one of the candidate. He recently got a job in one of the company, and after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, he was asked to put down the papers. Then he was forcefully moved to PIP. So he also had a word with his reporting manager. So reporting manager just told that it is something like it's a decision that has come from the management itself, and they won't be able to do anything with this particular thing. So he had a conversation with the reporting manager, but it was in vain because this kind of decision was already taken by the HR team. So HR gave him a 2 months of period, and they told him that he needs to search for another jobs in the market. And he was told his performance was not good, but he had joined that particular company at the same particular time in last 2 months itself. And 15 days or 3 weeks would go in just kind of, assets and all those things. But still he was being forced to resign. Now he's searching for the jobs, and I would pray to the God that all these employees who are being silently laid off, they get the jobs as soon as possible. And you give mock interviews to us, because through mock interviews you'll come to know what is your preparation level. Through mock interviews you'll come to know how much you have to perform more, how much you have to improve more, right? So those kind of things are necessary. Now, coming back to the statement, if you have recently joined that company, if you are the one who has been just in that company for 1 or 2 months, right? Then what you should speak up is, you should tell in an interview, in the new company's interview, that the business was going down and I was called in the cabin. You should describe the situation, and keep it very crisp, keep it very short. You don't have to tell anything ill about those particular people, right? And you have to put your statement very professionally, very practically, that the business was going down, so they have requested us to put down the papers because they would like to relieve us in this particular moment. So that's why the time period, the span is less, and you cannot hide them as well. You cannot hide those particular things from your resume, from your profile, because the PF has been getting credited from them, right? So if you will try to hide, if you will try to hide such kind of company's experience of which is of 2 or 3 months, then the new employer will always go for a background verification and they'll be doing a check. So they'll come to know from the PF history that the PF was getting credited. So better not to lie during this particular scenario. So that is also one of the advice, one of the suggestion that I would like to give you. So we saw what are these silent layoffs. We saw where are these silent layoffs happening. So these silent layoffs are happening within the IT companies itself. When do these silent layoffs happen? When the business is going down. And which people are getting impacted? So people who are on bench, they are the ones who might get impacted, or people who have newly joined the companies, they might get impacted. So whenever you are joining the company, you have to ask the proper questions from them that is this a new project, or is this an existing project? Is this a client demand, or is this a POC kind of a project? So that becomes very important. So as a part of silent layoffs, you would be asked to be into a kind of a PIP, right? You all know what is PIP. We all know, we are all aware about that particular term, performance improvement plan. So you would be worried why you are being put into the PIP, even though your performance, your productivity is good. But this is the harsh truth that is coming up in the market. It is about silent layoffs. You are being put into the PIP. You are being told to resign by yourself so that the company's image, the brand does not get impacted, right? So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching this video and stay tuned for more updates.